On Wednesday, in the UNGA summit, Prime Minister Gary Conille, the Prime Minister of Haiti, disclosed shocking statistics. He said that 25% of Haitian police have left the country and that two are wounded and one is killed every week. These are part of the atrocities that the gangs in Haiti are committing. That Haiti gangs kills one police and wounds two every week, according to the statement of Prime Minister Gary Conille. That is the lethal nature in which the Haitian gangs are operating in Haiti, because there is a constant fight between the Haiti gangs and the police officers. And mind you, there is also a constant fight between Haitian gangs within themselves. This is a contest of territory. It is a contest of who is who in Haiti regarding the gangs. So there is a constant fight between Haitian gangs, and then there is that constant fight between gangs and the police. But we remember that earlier this year, there was a collaboration, a unique way that no one expected these gangs will react, where there was what they call, or what they term as, the Viv and Sam gangs attack, where all these gangs coalesced together and had one voice and went against the police officers. And they tried as much as possible to fight the police officers in Haiti, and to the extent of capturing the Haitian National Airport, capturing the Haitian National Port, capturing critical infrastructure, government infrastructure in Haiti, and getting almost 100% of Port-au-Prince. But right now we know that the MSS forces landed in the country, and they've slowly started to reclaim parts of Haiti, including Delmas. And now gangs are said to control about 80% of Port-au-Prince. Still very far, but we are seeing some progress that the MSS forces are making, regardless of their small number being just a fraction of the total number that are supposed to deploy in Haiti. But what we know is that President Ruto, the president of Kenya, said that 300 police officers from Kenya are going to deploy in the month of October, and another 300 police officers from Kenya are going to deploy in the month of November. So that will make a total of 600 Kenyan police officers that will deploy before December, and that will make the Kenya pledge of police officers to the MSS mission to be 1,000, and that is the total number of police officers that was supposed to deploy from Kenya to the MSS mission. We are still looking at other countries that promised to deploy. These includes Barbados, Bahamas, Benin, Bangladesh, and other countries in the Caribbean community that say that they are going to deploy. But also, a country that should be discussed is a neighbor to Haiti. You know that Haiti is in the Hispaniola Peninsula, and this Hispaniola Peninsula has only two countries. This is Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Haiti shares a very long border with the Dominican Republic, and that means if there is a crisis in Haiti, the Dominican Republic is the first country to feel the heat or the pressure of what is happening in Haiti. And the president of the Dominican Republic addressed the UN General Assembly, and this is what the president had to say. He said, this is President Luis Abinader. He said that his administration will take drastic measures to protect the country if UN-backed mission in Haiti fails. That is the MSS mission. President Luis Abinader was very categorical to thank Kenyans for deploying in Haiti, and to thank the MSS forces that are trying to restore peace and tranquility in Haiti. And he said that should that mission fail, his country is ready to take drastic measures. Now, when he said drastic measures, it's because a lot of refugees and people seeking asylum are crossing the border and going to the Dominican Republic. And this is in thousands and hundreds of thousands of people fleeing Haiti, going to the Dominican Republic. And that is part of the reason as to why President Luis Abinader, this, by the way, is a president that has only started his second term, was sworn in last month to start his second term. And he's saying or warning that should that MSS mission fail, he will take drastic measures, because he knows that if gangs are going to win in Haiti, it means a lot of people will want to flee the nation, and the easiest country to go to from Haiti is, of course, the neighbor. And there is only one neighbor, that is the Dominican Republic. But so far, President Luis Abinader has been criticized by international humanitarian organizations, for example, Amnesty International, for imposing discriminatory policies and racist policies against people of Haitian descent and Haitians who are fleeing atrocities in their country. Many people who are Haitian or people who have been born in Dominican Republic but are of Haitian descent have undergone prejudice, and some have been deported. He said that he has deported about 170,000 people who are Haitians back to Haiti, but the UN has a higher number, to the tune of 224,000 people who have been deported to the nation of Haiti from the Dominican Republic. And this goes further even to children. There is statistics saying the tune of 70,000 adolescents have been deported from the Dominican Republic to Haiti. And there are international ways of handling refugees and asylum seekers. If someone is escaping asylum from a particular country, you're supposed, as a host country, you're supposed to host them, you're supposed to feed them, and you're supposed to provide them with basic needs. That is why you'll find that different countries have secluded places where refugees are taken care of. For example, in Kenya, we have the Kakuma camp and the Dadaab camp, where there are a lot of refugees staying. Refugees fleeing from Somalia, refugees fleeing from South Sudan, and other parts of Africa that are neighboring Kenya come to these camps, and they are given asylum, they're given basic shelter, they're given basic food and water and things that they need to survive. The Dominican Republic is feeling the pressure of all these refugees from Haiti, and the president has taken different measures, introducing different policies. For example, he has militarized the border. He has sent military officers to guard the entire border with Haiti to make sure that people are not fleeing illegally from Haiti to the Dominican Republic. The deportation of minors and people who are seeking asylum in Dominican Republic is against international laws. These are people who are fleeing violence, and by you deporting them, you are taking them back to the same violence that they are trying to flee. Therefore, you're condemning them to that kind of a life where they're going to have more violence imposed on them. They're going to meet more challenges that they were trying to escape. So that is why all these international organizations are criticizing the president, that is Luis Abinader, of supporting policies that are against human rights. He is supposed to offer asylum, and he's supposed also, as a good neighbor, to see ways in how he's going to support Haiti in getting back on its feet, because it will benefit both countries.